We go through so many changes at one time that I feel like nobody really prepares us for, right?
They talk to you about different things to expect when bringing your baby home and parenthood, but not those things. The mental health aspect of it, yeah.
For me, my experience of becoming a father was that my brain had to get a little bit rewired. My life would look more closely like postpartum depression than my wife's would. And that's not something that is common or would, normally be shared, but I felt like PIP was a safe place for me to come and say, I'm really struggling right now.
I felt really sad, and I felt sad for feeling sad.
It's so important to understand that you're not alone in these feelings, in the situation. There's so many people that are going through the same thing. It makes total sense. Like, our life has shifted during this time.
Almost every parent, whether birthing parent or partner, is very likely to experience some kind of mood change between sleep deprivation and hormones completely changing and the rhythm of your household completely changing. It's nearly impossible to not feel that and internalize that and experience it as some kind of change in your mood.
Usually we'll see about 11% of folks, or like 1 in 5 people, developing perinatal mood or anxiety disorders. We do note that with COVID, we saw a significant increase in this. So now it's looking more like 1 in 3 people.
It is common, but it's not normal. And by that, I mean, it is very common to all of these different families. It happens to almost everyone in some way, form, or fashion, and for some duration that changes depending on the person and the scenario. It doesn't have to be normal. It doesn't have to stay this way.
We're talking about difficulty with sleeping, difficulty with concentration, different changes in mood from irritability to having like a lot of thoughts that are intrusive, difficulty getting out of bed and doing the things that we typically do, enjoying the things that we used to, all the way to more severe symptoms of thinking about harming baby or harming oneself. We usually think about them lasting from the moment somebody's pregnant to maybe a year after delivery, but we know that they can continue for years after that if they're not treated.
Yeah, nobody prepared me for what I would go through mentally, just being so sad and worrying all the time and having the anxiety and looking in the mirror and being like, who is this?
But also there's a big transformation that happens in the dad. Something that just awoke in my reptile brain when it was the 4th or 5th time in the middle of the night, my first daughter is screaming, and I'm just like, wow, this is really hard. I want to get out of here. And so these moments, where you just feel powerless are really challenging because you don't know exactly what the baby wants, or you can't make them feel comforted as quickly or as effectively as you want to, because it's a learning process, for you and the baby. Moment to moment, diaper to diaper, it's really challenging. It's not popular to go to another person's baby shower and talk about how little sleep you got, or how challenging figuring out what to feed your kids are, or how it's just like not fun all the time.
Yes, I was definitely losing sleep. It drove me to a point where I just was like sitting there, just not sleeping, not eating, not really taking care of myself, just more so just super concerned about him and his safety and his well-being.
I didn't want to tell anyone I was feeling that way. And so it was hard for me to just ask for the help and let someone know, like, hey, I just don't feel like myself.
I wouldn't encourage anybody to hide those feelings, because if they surface, they surface. I think the best thing to do is figure out how to deal with those and not let them drown you.
One of the main things that happens during this time is that we feel hopeless. So it's important to really, have that reflection and identify at this moment, things are hard, like validate those feelings. And at the same time, there are treatment options that can help make things feel better.
If you feel like you are experiencing some perinatal mood differences in yourself or in your partner, then you should trust your intuition about that.
So these are going to be something that requires attention and that is not going to go away on its own.
So it's almost like we're trying to think, who can be in my team, right? Right now, things are not okay. Who can I reach out to? How can things feel better?
That is going to be through a support of course, a therapist, family members, but also for medication management and doing different things for wellness in general. Otherwise, it can continue for a prolonged period of time and then turn into something more chronic.
You can move through it with support of people who are here for you and in your corner.
I just want to say, be patient with yourself. And If you can talk to someone, talk to someone.